From asking me to marry her over text to accusing me of the most heinous crimes.
Pissed off at the asshole who went after my kid. Caleb, you're a asshole. Saying it right here publicly. You're an asshole and you're not a Christian. Went after a little boy.
Over a dozen fake Facebook accounts, Instagrams, YouTube handles, and TikToks. This video will show how to prove stalking. Hey guys, this is Caleb. I am trying to attempt to be open and honest with y'all about this subject. This is a person I've been dealing with for over 2 years now, because I'm still actively being stalked, pursued, however you want to call it. She's gone on and said some of the worst stuff you could ever accuse somebody of without any evidence to back it up, without any screenshots to back it up, any voice recordings. But for me, I recorded everything. I mean, I screenshot our text messages from when we first met. We only had a couple interactions together, which I recorded most of just because I kind of knew that this is a type of person who could make something up if she just felt like it. So I'm ready to go into detail about it. Just this first part of it's going to be really hard for me to talk about because it involves stuff I'm not proud of as a man. And as just a guy isn't supposed to go through this. A guy isn't supposed to be the one who's actively being stalked, harassed, had their job contacted, had their family contacted. This isn't supposed to happen to me. You hear all these stories about these crazy guys chasing a woman, and it's different when it's you, when you're supposed to be tough, when you're supposed to be a man. Okay, I'm going to go through these text messages first. This starts on August 22nd of 2022. That is a long time ago. What you're going to notice is how little we interacted before all this other stuff started happening, okay? So, August 22nd, 2022, I agree to pick up this girl whose name I won't say. I'm going to call her Stephanie. Decided not to use her real name. My best friend Darcy, around August 22nd, I think we started texting before, but August 22nd of 2022, she asked me to pick up Stephanie from her house because she didn't have a car and take her to our Bible study that we led every Monday. So I had to text her a little bit. So as you can see, this is a very normal conversation. Other than trying to be funny over text, maybe a little flirty. I don't know. I don't think anything in this conversation kind of warrants the amount of, I guess, the words dedication, obsession. There's nothing in here that strikes me as where I stand out amongst however many guys she probably goes through trying to text her and flirt with her. I don't think I do anything crazy here, but there is a lot of oversharing. She says she talks about the doctors, the therapists, DFPS, all that stuff. She starts immediately going into her son. She starts sending screenshots of her son. Talks about my mom beat me, and I'm into gentle parenting. I never spank. She just starts kind of trauma dumping. In fact, as I'm going through these, I didn't recall all this trauma dumping. Jeez. Okay, she gives me her Instagram handle, which I'm going to blur out because as far as I know, it's still kind of active. As you can tell, she starts getting super religious too, dealing with something demonic. She starts fasting. Look at all these texts I get. And I'm doing Darcy a favor. I'm doing Stephanie a favor. I'm not doing anything crazy, I don't think. I go to pick her up. I pick her up at her place. Again, she doesn't have a car, so I'm taking her. It was a long drive because she was a long way from Darcy's place. And the whole time she's just talking, and I could tell there was something just a bit off about her. Nothing crazy. I just know she talks a lot. I just figured, she talks a lot. She doesn't let me talk. I'm just giving the usual, oh, that's horrible. Stuff like that. I'm just giving short answers. We get to Bible study. She's very outspoken for herself, and we had a bunch of people at the time who were outspoken as well, and she started dealing with something. She shared something in group that she was dealing with, and she started handing out ER paperwork, talking about her son, and in the ER paperwork, it says something about, bleeding in the genital area, and I want to keep this video as PG as I can. She won't once we start playing some of her stuff. And so she's already talking about her son, and we used to pray for everybody in group. we used to have this really weird guy who laid hands on her in front of everybody, and then we all kind of gathered around her and prayed like we, normal. He led the charge on it, but he was really into the, being loud and enunciating and being just at a certain level, and demon come out. We had a guy like that type of thing, but he didn't go too crazy on her. He just said, any negative thoughts, all that stuff, we want it to come out, is what he was saying essentially. I think at some point I offered, because she was talking about moving out of that house and not having anywhere to go. Again, she didn't have a car, and she was soon to not have a place to live. At the time, I had a female roommate and an empty room, and I knew she was struggling financially. As far as I knew, she wasn't working, and I had thrown out the offer to maybe she could stay there for a week while she tries to get back on her feet. We were in between roommates. I was looking for an actual roommate. I didn't expect her to pay anything. I threw that out there. No pressure, nothing. I went out to my car to grab something, and during that time, actually, Stephanie had pulled Darcy over, my best friend, who's a co-host on the show, on the main show. She pulled her to the side and said, "I can't stay with him. He's too attractive. I would struggle. It would be an area in which I'd be tempted, and all that stuff." She's saying all that about me while I'm not there. Totally fine. I mean, a girl talking to another girl, I didn't need to hear about it. And I didn't hear about it till way later, but she had already admitted to my best friend that, she's already struggling with thoughts about me. And I had no clue. I mean, this took me all off guard later. So normally after Bible study, this is after now, we usually go eat. And we were going to this weird drive-in taco shop. We do this every Monday after study. We go out. As we're driving there, I'm driving her again. She agrees to go. As we pull up to the place, she starts crying and trauma dumping about she hasn't seen her son in a while. He's been kidnapped. All this, and she's bawling, and I feel bad because I'm like, okay, she's really going through it. I decide not to take her inside because everybody's there and everybody see her crying. So I text everybody, "Hey, we're gonna go somewhere else," while she cries it out. I texted Darcy telling her what's going on, just making sure there's nothing crazy going on, and let everybody know like I don't have any ill intentions. I take her to this cigar lounge where I had, I think, one drink, or I might have had no drinks. I really can't remember, but I was not under the influence at all. She had about 3 drinks, mixed drinks, so the drinks go right through her. And again, she is just talking, trauma dumping. I can't speak. She keeps me out for a couple hours. And I do notice, like, I can't get a word in. I mean, this is a one-sided conversation, and that's fine. I mean, maybe she doesn't have a lot of people to talk to, is my thought at the time. And I even think I made a comment like that. She talks about never meeting a good guy. And I think I was trying to be nice and just be encouraging. And I think I said something like, maybe you just never had a guy love you, or maybe you just never had the right guy come in and treat you, something like that. It was not anything crazy. I said it just to be nice, and I don't remember anything other than that. It was just something super basic, super simple that you say when you just want to be a nice guy. So she's drunk. Her house is really far, and I would say 45 to an hour. It's like 1 or 12 in the morning, and I just decide my place is 15 minutes away. I'm tired. I have a job interview in the morning. I'm just going to take her to my place and put her on the couch and go back to my room and go to sleep. That's all I had intended. I take her to Whataburger, get her some food because she's probably hungry. I take her home. She's still talking on the way, and then she starts saying, she starts making comments about my tattoos. I just started my sleeve, and she was saying, "You don't need a sleeve. You don't need to do that. You're such a great-looking guy. You're an amazing guy." And it's nice to hear from a guy who doesn't hear that from people, who doesn't have a lot of confidence, who doesn't, I hadn't dated in a couple years, and it was just nice to hear that from someone who I, at the time, found to be really pretty. And so I take her in. She immediately starts getting handsy with me, and she is hugging me and trying just to get me to keep embracing her and holding her. And I know it's a bad idea, so I tell her to stop. And she keeps trying to say, "Please come pray for me. Please come pray." And not just pray for her. She wants me to go over to her and put hands on her. And I just kept saying, "No, I'll just pray for you from a distance." And, So I get her to get on the couch, and I'm ready to go to my room, and she tells me, Please don't go. I'm scared, and I don't want to be alone, and it's dark." So I was like, "Okay." And so she said, "Will you come lay next to me?" And of course, I said no because it's a bad idea. I don't know why I was so dumb with this. I didn't know she was sending me hits all night, but I'm not used to it, so I just ignored it because I just thought she was being nice. I told her I'm not doing it, so I got on. But I said I'll stay out here, and I got on the other couch. And I want to say she talked to me again for a couple hours, and she kept saying, "Will you come over here? Will you come over here?" And I said no. I mean, I just knew something was wrong, and so I'm on the other couch, and then she started asking me. She said, "What kind of porn do you watch?" And I was like, I don't, because it's, as a Christian, we're not supposed to be doing that. We're supposed to be living a pure life. She started yelling at me, and she said, "Guys always get scared by the hard questions, and you're just like every other guy." So she starts insulting me. After a couple hours of stuff like that, where it's like, "Please come pray for me. Please come put your hands on me. Please come lay next to me," and then mixing in some insults and yelling and stuff like that. She gets up. She comes over to my couch, and then she gets on top of me, and then she starts rubbing my chest. And of course, as a guy who hasn't had a date in a long time, who has normal guy urges, it's hard. It's hard to say no. It's hard when you're the guy being pressured into doing something. And when a girl's drunk and she's not taking no for an answer, and she starts forcing herself on you. And so eventually we start kissing. And that's as far as it went that night. We were just kissing. And I was sitting there. I was like, shoot, I can't just like tell her, "Hey, I'm not interested," after we kiss, because I know it's different. Guys usually will sleep with the person and then dump them. But I was just like, I can't just do that. I got to, so I was like, okay, let's just see how this goes. Well, we both end up going to my room and just going to sleep. I get up, I go to my job interview. I think I nail it. I come home, I'm in a great mood, I'm happy, I got my interview, and it went very well. She is already giving me attitude and kind of being mean. I just don't remember what she said or what was said. I don't. I just remember I wasn't happy. Well, I'm in a good mood. We start kissing again. She's in my bed. I'm kind of sitting on a chair next to it, and we're kissing. She was very sober at this point. This was the next day. I hadn't given her any more drinks. She kept asking me to put my hand in between her legs, under the clothes. I kept saying no, because I am trying to live pure. I'm already kind of digging myself in a hole. I knew that. But it's so hard to just run away from your own room, from your own house I had to take her home. She didn't have a car. I kind of trapped myself with her at my place. So I keep saying no. She said, "Please, please, please. It's only going to take a couple seconds." And I said no. And then she took my hand and she put it under her clothes and between her legs. And I didn't pull away. I didn't stop her. So I just want you guys to use your imagination from there. That's as far as it went, though. It didn't go any further than that. After we were done, I put the chair back against like the wall next to my computer, and I just was crying because I gave in to something that I knew was wrong. And I just felt really bad. I felt like I had let down my best friend. I felt like I had let myself down. I felt like I just did something horrible. She tried to comfort me for like a second, but I wasn't having it. I wasn't in the mood. I didn't want to hear it because I had just let myself down. She just said, "Well, it's not my responsibility to make you feel good about yourself," and just starts berating me again and just making me feel bad and just telling me that I'm being emotional for no reason. I didn't know what to do other than, it's like, I got to come clean about it to my best friend, Darcy. I can't just lie to her. And she said, "Please don't tell Darcy. Please." She was trying to make me promise not to tell her. I was like, I can't just not tell her. She's my best friend. She's my co-lead in a Bible study. I got to be honest with her. I have to tell her. I don't want it to seem like I'm is what she said. "Please don't tell. Please don't." And she made me promise. Darcy asked me the next day, because I told Darcy I'm just going to I told her about what my plans were. We're just put her on the couch and be done. And she said, "Okay, that's fine. Just hit me up the next morning. Let me know how it goes." Darcy trusted me. I trusted me. I didn't know I couldn't trust Stephanie. At the end of the day, I made a bad decision to take her back to my place. I should have just taken her back to her place. On the way home, she puts on the worst Taylor Swift song. I offered to buy her food. She says she doesn't want any, and then when I skip mine, she starts eating some of mine, which was annoying. But that's far from the real issue. I mean, as we're pulling up, getting close to her neighborhood, she tells me, Caleb, I don't think you really love me. I just think you're lusting after me. I don't think you're really interested in me as a person. And I just don't know what to do because she's just talking at me. She starts saying stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I mean, of course I don't love you. We just met yesterday. There's nothing to love yet. I don't know you. And I take her back to her place, and I forgot I had her ID in my wallet because I don't know, a lot of girls, when you go to bars with them, they don't carry their stuff around. You got to put it in your wallet. She was one of those people. So after that, I drop her off. I don't remember there being any crazy incident. I lied to Darcy. She asked me how'd it go. I said, great. Nothing happened. But I was promised to not tell. So I said nothing happened. Obviously, if you guys listen to the show, Darcy didn't believe me. We went and hung out and grabbed tacos somewhere, just me and her, and she went on about it. And I have a terrible poker face. But she didn't press the issue. She took me at my word, even though she knew I was full of it. The next day, I'm in a meeting at church. I get a text from Darcy with a screenshot, and it's between her and Stephanie. Stephanie went ahead and told Darcy. And guess what Stephanie does next? Did he not tell you when y'all hung out today? So, immediately, Stephanie told Darcy. Stephanie told her that we were physical. And she acted like I was the one hiding stuff. She acted like I was the one whose idea it was to lie about it. She just totally, completely forgot the conversation where she begged me not to tell Darcy. And then she went ahead and told her, which is fine, right? If you're feeling guilty and you want to come clean. She didn't tell me, but that's fine. But she turns around and acts like it was my idea. She turns around and makes it sound like, oh, Caleb didn't tell you? So immediately I got some explaining to do to Darcy. And I should have just came clean from the beginning. I know that. Like I lied, right? I'm the bad friend. I'm the one whose fault it is, right? I get that. But to sit there and just act like, well, he didn't tell you after you just made me promise to lie to my best friend, that's kind of messed up. So I called Darcy and I say, look, here's what happened. And I did the whole thing. And I said, look, I understand I probably need to step away from Bible study for a while, like as a leader. Like, hey, I messed up. I lied. I did a thing wrong. I'm sorry I lied. I am so sorry. And, Darcy's really cool about it. She's like, hey, you're being honest. You thought you were, being way cooler than I deserve. Let me just say that. But she's like, it happens, and, you thought you were being honorable by, keeping your promise and not, like, just being really nice to me. So Darcy lets me off the hook, right? Well, later I get a voicemail from Stephanie. She gives me a voicemail saying, hey, I really enjoyed last night. Want to hang out again. Can't wait to see you again. Had a lot of fun. I think we really connected. Totally ignoring what she just did to me. And I was so livid, so angry, I deleted it. And I did this a lot back in the day when I was single. I asked Darcy, hey, how do I word this message where I'm not going crazy on her, I'm not going ham? I go ahead and send her a text. Darcy helped me word it because I'm angry. And when I text when I'm angry, it's not a good message, right? So I say, hey, I've been back and forth on how to message you back, but I'm not comfortable pursuing anything with you at this time, friendship or relationship-wise. I would appreciate it if you would stop texting me unless you want to pick up your furniture, because I think she talked me into holding some stuff for her because she's moving out of that house. I ended up leaving it with Darcy. I forgot to mention that, guys. I held on to some of her stuff because she was moving out. I'm not the only one. There were a couple people she left her crap with that she needed to get it back from. I ended up leaving it at Darcy's house, and her friend was able to pick it up. Maybe I'll see you at group. I don't feel comfortable with us being one-on-one alone anymore. I don't think we are heading in a positive direction. I left it at that. She starts blowing up my phone, and I make it a point I am not going to respond. So, and she is not happy. As you can see with these messages, she is blowing up my phone. Some of these you got to click on to see the whole thing because they're long. And look at all these. And these are rapid fire. Some of these are time stamped. Rapid fire, hit me, hit me, hit me. Like barely any seconds in between. And I don't respond. Then she notices she doesn't have her driver's license. Well, shoot, now I got to see her again. Flip, right? Well, I work night shift, so I text her, I'll try and get it to you tomorrow. I have work in a few. I'm about to head into the night shift. I'll get it to her in the morning. I work from, at the time, 11 to 7. Actually, though, they were making us work 12-hour shifts. So I was like, it's 11 to 11. So I said, I'll be off at 11 a.m., hopefully noon at the latest. Because, again, it's an hour drive from where we were, right? Letting me have it. She's saying I had red flags, all this stuff, right? So, I actually start to feel bad at this point, right? I'm like, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. So I actually message her and say, hey, I know you're frustrated. I know I didn't handle this the best, and I'm sorry. So I'm trying to meet her halfway. My bad. Like, hey, maybe she did care, right? So I say, I'm worried we won't sort anything out of her text, and we both definitely have a lot to say, right? She's blowing up on me, and I got stuff I want to say, too. Like, she threw me under the bus, acted like I lied, and said it was my idea to hide stuff. And look at these. I don't forgive you. You were selfish. I don't exploit. I don't blame. Just like all this stuff here, right? Just crazy. Just coming at me. Said you would have apologized. Just a few texts before I said, I'm sorry, right? I already said that. And she said, you would have apologized if you were actually sorry. You would have been kind to me after, right? And I'm just trying to calm her down. And all these messages, my phone is just going crazy. Every 3 seconds. Zzz, 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 zzz. She starts saying I'm not a man. She starts saying I'm men who act like you do are weak. So she's calling me weak. And I'm just taking it. As you can see in these texts, I don't get mad. I don't yell back. I don't start hitting her with insults. Eventually I work it out to, hey, I'm going to take her ID. Same time, probably around noon. I just got working overnight. So I get to her place, knock on her door. Okay, so here's the part where I decided to be smart. I don't have this text message with Darcy, but I said, I'm going to go ahead and turn my phone on, hit record, and stick it in my pocket. Right? No video, but there's audio. We start talking. So I recorded the entire hour and 40 minutes of it. The whole thing. Because for an hour and 40 minutes, she berates me. So that when I was getting the vibes.
Are you gonna look at me when you're gonna talk to me, or are you not?
This is so hard for me. I'm being serious. This is so hard.
Oh.
She insults me. I haven't called you anything. Not a thing. You called me a lot of hurtful things.
I don't know. I called you. What did I call you?
You called me weak. You called me a coward.
Well, I feel like it is kind of weak.
Okay, but you called me a bunch of things. I haven't called you anything. I haven't called you any of the words that you listed that you feel like. And I'm not
I feel like men who do that I feel like men who can't care for women's emotions and who always bring it back to them are absolutely weak and trash.
Yeah. She won't let me talk.
No, you don't. No, you you care about yourself.
No, I don't. And I really don't get how you're getting those vibes, because I'm really, really trying to talk
I feel like it's
and resolve this so we don't at least have to be like hating each other or angry at each other.
I didn't hate you.
I don't hate you.
Yes, you did.
I don't.
Yes, you did.
No. She interrupts. She's yelling. She's pestering. She's insufferable. And I'm trying to say sorry. I'm trying to say, hey, let's try and fix this. Can we be friends still? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? For almost 2 hours. And she's not having a word of it. From the very beginning, you can hear, will you look at me when you talk to me? Will you do this? Will you do that? And it's just the same. It's stuff she keeps trying to be controlling and just downright mean, right? And I'm just taking it. I'm trying to be patient. There were a couple times I lost my cool, but I didn't yell or insult her. I kind of get a little gripey. But for the most part, I kept it cool up until the very end. So what I'm going to do to back up this story, because this is just the beginning. This is just our initial interaction before the fun stuff happens, right? I'm going to go ahead and post this as a separate video, the whole hour and 40 minutes of our whole conversation. If you're interested in listening to see if this backs up with what I'm saying, feel free. It's a very embarrassing video for me because at certain points I cry in it because she's being mean. She's also mixing it with some compliments, so it's like love bombing. So at one point I just start crying. And it's embarrassing for me because I'm a guy. But in order to be like fully transparent with you guys, anyone who's listening and made it this far, God, I'm sorry. But I think it's important to have this posted. The only thing I'm going to censor is her name. If I say the address, I haven't listened to it in a while, but just stuff that would out her. I'm going to post that separately if you want to listen to it, because some of the stuff she claims I say, some of the stuff she claims I did is all stemming from that recording when she didn't know that I took. All the stuff she says I tried to get her to do, all the threats I supposedly hurled at her, stem from that 1 hour and 40-minute conversation. Hey, none of the stuff she said I did is in there.
So, I'm not making this out as like you like I didn't make it out like you raped me or anything like that. I'm saying it's that like we did that, and then like that I didn't even make you. I'm not even like.
So I'm gonna post it. I'm only gonna censor a couple things. Other than that, I'm not touching it. I stop. There's no video. It's just audio, but it's clear as day. I say her name. It's her. No threats. She's yelling at me. I'm just taking it. At one point I start crying, but at a lot of points in there, she says she came on to me, she initiated it, she admits to all of that. I'm just saying I didn't initiate physical contact. That's all I'm saying. And like by the point, like I said, when you got on top, it was too late.
I did initiate physical contact. I did do that.
Yeah. Because take note, because she will not say that ever again, and the story's going to flip to where, oh, Caleb did this. Caleb did all of that. Caleb threatened me. Caleb wanted to do secret stuff to me. Right? So keep all that in mind. That stems from this conversation that I'll be posting at the very end of the sound clip that I took of our long conversation. She tries to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna pray for us, and then we're done." She's done with the conversation, right? I'm just gonna pray. I'm just gonna pray, and then that's it. So then she starts praying. I'm already pissed because I didn't get to say anything. She wasn't listening. She wouldn't admit to having that conversation where she made me promise not to tell. Not like nothing. Like again, the same exact thing that happened over text happened in person, right? So I'm pissed, and I'm just like, I'm done with this thing. So I'm letting her pray, and in the prayer, she tries to end it with, "Lord, try to help Caleb understand people's feelings better." And so as soon as she said that, dude, I was out. I just walked away. And I got in my car and I said, "Bye, Stephanie." And I drove off and I talked directly to my phone before I ended the recording. I said, "You heard that? Other than a couple conversations we had, like the initial night where we talked, and then the next morning when she kind of forced herself on me and I didn't have a way out in my head. I didn't record that because I'm not a sicko. But the conversation after that, I recorded. Just you wait till you start seeing some of the stuff she sends me, right? This story gets pretty freaking crazy from here. As I'm driving home, she starts saying, "Wow, you wasted 2 hours." He's blowing up my phone still. And I'll put these texts in there, but she says, "I'm blocking you. You didn't take any accountability." But as I'm just sitting there taking these texts, I'm driving, and I was like, "Look, stop texting me." I tell her. She said she's blocking me. What happened to you not messaging me? She says like 5 times, "This is the last time I'm messaging you." Right? And so I said, "Hey, you said you weren't messaging me anymore. Why don't you do that?" Right? So it's all in the text. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. And then at the end, I say, "All right, I'm blocking your number, you psycho." And I block her number. And I thought that was it. Until the night of, I'm at work again. I get a message from her alleged best friend. And what you'll see as time goes on with this woman is she has no friends, right? And if she does, they don't last long because then she starts making stuff up about them. I get a text that night from her friend saying, "Hey, have you heard from Stephanie in a while?" And I was like, "No." This morning, I told her I don't want to see her again, right? And she goes, "Well, she went missing and you're the last person to see her." And I was like, "Nope, no way, absolutely not. You're not putting whatever, if she unalived herself, if she jumped into some stranger's car and never got heard from again, you are not putting that on me because I recorded the whole dang thing, right? I didn't say the part that I recorded it, but I said, you can't put that on me. Here's everything I know. Here's when I quit talking to her and blocked her number. And she goes, this person goes, well, you just don't understand what she's going through. And she talked about you already. She didn't say anything bad, but, she said that something happened between y'all. Already trying to kind of give me like a semi-lecture, but she didn't go that far. And then she asked if her husband can call me. And I said, nope, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish here. I'm not interested in taking a call. I don't even know how you got my number. I guess Stephanie gave it to her, but I don't know where she's at. She was fine when I left her. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish with this. And she goes, oh, no, nothing crazy. I just want, she wasn't eating. She wasn't doing all this. We just want to see. And I was like, sorry. I'm not doing it. I don't know what you're implying. But eventually I get a text from this person saying, oh, the police found her at the park. She's fine. Okay, good. I'm off the hook, right? I'm good. Okay. And that was the end of it for 2 months. 2 months, I got some peace and quiet. Just got my day started. This is October 19th, same year, 2022. I get a bloop, and it's from Stephanie, and it's from an Instagram.